of the yeah.
So let me search in Google. If I search in Google, is it a prompt engineering? So like example, I'm saying, hey, prepare my resume. Is that a prompt engineering or search? It's a search. So let's talk about what is prompt engineering versus search. And very important that you should understand and appreciate. So when you search in Google, you're searching token. You're searching token. You're not, see here, when you search here, you're typing here, and Google is the one doing all the magic. Make sense? And Google give you reactive response. Reactive response means you ask, then I'll give you response. It's called search. You can say prompt, but you can't say engineering because you are just typing. If you type or I type, most likely we'll get the same result. Why? Because magic is happening at Google level, not your level, right? So this is called text search, or we can say prompt, but we can't say engineering. So what's the engineering? Engineering means this is not a Google, but this is now changed to LLM, large language model. You can think about a brain, or you can think about a knowledge, but that knowledge, how you are accessing that knowledge will be different person to person. So now rather than you're searching, you're actually educating this knowledge base. You're educating, hey, I have question, listen carefully, I have questions and you need to give me answer in this format and make sure the length is like this. You're giving a structures and then you're asking this LLM to give me answer. So that formatting your question is quite different than Google. Make sense or no? So there are 3-4 things matters. When you type in Google, you're just typing text, resume, prepare my resume, right? But if you talk about prompt engineering, the first thing you need to think about, what is your intent? Speak with me. What is your intent? Intent means goal. You need to start with the goal. So here, prepare resume, there is no goal is visible. You just say prepare resume, but it does not give me the goal. So when you do prompt engineering, there are segmentations you need to educate. So first is goal is clear. Make sense? Goal has to be clear. Now when you say goal, then you need to say, okay, give me context. If I'm high school student, my prompt prepare resume still may be okay. If I'm in college, but context is not there. So if I say prepare resume for ninth grader, it's a context. Prepare resume for medical, that's a context. Prepare resume for data analyst, that's a context, which we normally don't give it in Google because Google doesn't prepare. Google just search it. Make sense? So here we are asking command through intent, but then we also give a context. First one was goal, second is context. If you don't give context, you may get a result, but not a proper result. So first one is a goal. The second one is the context. You give a context. Hey, I'm looking for this. So like example, if I'm instructor, I can say, I want to prepare PowerPoint. So my goal is I want to prepare PowerPoint for AI class. The context is I've been teaching to the new or beginner students. So I give a context. So now the slides will be prepared based on the mind. Let's assume I'm in college. Let's say prepare AI slides for college students. Context is different. Result will be different. Make sense? So what was the first one? Goal. The second one is context. The third one, you provide a format. You provide format. Format like, how you want this thing. Like example, sometimes you say, you know what, I want to get this result in 3 paragraphs. So you say, I need 3 paragraphs. Or you can say, I need a bullet points. Or you can say, I need in 100 words, right? You can provide format. Now, some of you are technical, you can say, I need a table format. I need a JSON format. I need a XML format. So you can provide a guideline, what format I want in response, which you don't do in Google. In Google, you cannot say, I need result in this format. The goal, context, format. You can also provide rules. You can say rules, do and don't do, like that type of thing. So rules. So you can add a rules that, hey, you know what, like if I'm posting any post in LinkedIn, I can say, you know what, it has to be 100 characters. It means it will not go more than 100 characters. You can specify rules, what to do and what not to do. So example, don't provide me generic informations. Provide me very specific informations. So you can provide, and as you are doing this, this is called engineering. Engineering means you're changing, you're adjusting, you are educating your knowledge base, which is in our case LLM. Hey, get me something like this. And to be honest with you, this one has whole world information, but extracting these informations require a skill, and that skill is a prompt engineering. And prompt engineering skill, in my understanding, is essential if you are working in AI world, because think about world information is stored in LLM, and if you enter wrong prompt, it will take time. If you enter right prompt, then you will get a better result. So far so good. So now let's take an example. Let's say I want to prepare a resume. What would be my prompt? How would I write a proper prompt? Okay, so why don't you all start ChatGPT? Let's start ChatGPT. We'll learn by doing it. People on phone, let's start a ChatGPT. So we can learn certain things and tips and techniques. Within 5 minutes, you will be start getting context clearly. Again, ChatGPT, in my understanding, is one of the most popular tool, but this is not the only tool in the market. Again, it doesn't matter which tool you use. Either you use ChatGPT or you use CloudOps or you use other, doesn't matter. They all work almost same form. So I'm going to remain free. But in case if you are using logged in version, you may be able to generate images and videos. But right now we are not focusing on that. So we come here. Okay. Can I count here? So now let's just write here, simple thing, prepare my resume, right? If you give this information, do you think LLM will understand what is my resume means? No. So this is called prompt, but it may not give a result. If you can search it, if I can search it, you will not get appropriate result because it doesn't know. It doesn't know what, so it's gonna give me generic information. Do you agree? Because I say prepare my resume, you can see that it's not giving me more detail because I'm not giving more information. So let's apply our roles, all the rules, right? So let's talk about. So first, prepare my AI resume. So now I'm giving a goal, AI resume. So my goal. Now, based on that, we have to provide some kind of context. So what would be the context? So here, prepare my resume with skills, like example, I'm giving skills. Then you can say skills column, Python, cloud, data analysis, right? LLM, spelling doesn't matter here. LLM, I'm just making up, right? In professional format. What professional format? So I'm saying, hey, don't just create like that. Professional format, which I can submit for AI engineer job. So now you can see that I'm giving a prompt a little bit better. So first of all, prepare my resume. That's your goal. You're giving resume with skills. So you're giving now what I am formatting, right? Which I can, and you're also giving a little bit information. Hey, format it professional format. It will understand. You're giving, hey, make sure you're giving hint. You're giving hint, what should I include? What should I not include? Which I can submit for AI engineering job. Now, many of us in English, we write, could you, right? Could you kindly, should I write here? No, because AI, please pay attention, AI doesn't have a heart. AI doesn't have a heart. So there is no point to write emphatic word, right? Kindly prepare this thing. More words you give, more confusion you create. So your goal is to make sure you only give something which AI or artificial, in our case LLM, will understand. Now, please understand, I want to give a rules now. So here, prepare my AI resume. with skills Python, cloud, you can add more skills, no problem, right? In a professional firm which I can submit for AI engineering job, make sure I did comma, make sure resume is less than, let's say I'm making 1000 words, right? Make sure resume is less than 1000 words. What that mean? I'm giving the rules. Don't create a big resume. Also, I'll say make sure resume is less than 100 words and error free. So what I'm saying, hey, don't write spelling mistake, don't do anything. More you provide instructions, the prompt is educating this model, hey, this person is looking for specific generation, which LLM will receive this prompt and try to generate based on what I'm looking for. Now, if you submit, you will see your resume will come better format. Now check it out. Just changing 2 minutes, now your resume is getting better and better. Do you guys agree? Any questions, concern? People on phone, right? If you write resume with hand versus you write resume through this one, your resume will be much, much more appropriate. Clear? Now you can see how nicely it does everything. Now you can copy this thing and then modify. Normally when you copy, you click on this copy and put it in Word document and then modify. Clear? People on phone, any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So let me go back to the forum. So prompt engineering is nothing but you are trying to ask good question. You're going to ask good question to large language model, so you get appropriate result. That appropriate result or output, which is the prompt engineering is helping you. So prompt engineering is educating you what kind of question I should ask. Should I provide some example? Should I provide some format? Should I provide some rules? So should I provide some goals? More I provide the details, easier it will become. Now, some of us say, I have no idea how prompt engineering works, right? So there is a trick. Do you know how trick works? So like example, sometimes I do not know anything. And in America, there is a concept called ask questions, right? So the way, if you do not know anything, you can do reverse engineering. So like example, go back to your ChatGPT and you reverse ask. So check it out. Provide prompt for preparing resume. So what you are now asking, hey, ChatGPT, why don't you give me prompt? What would be a good prompt look like? Make sense? So provide prompt for preparing resume. Now and you can also say provide prompt for preparing resume, give 3 examples. So now I'm looking for 3 examples. You can have 10, but let's say 3 examples. Now if I run this prompt, it will give me the prompt how to prepare a good resume. Now you can use it. So this is another way. You don't need to be smart. You just need to know how to prepare a prompt. So I prepare a prompt. Hey, I don't know how to write prompt to prepare a resume. Give me 3 examples. So you give me example, look at that for specific role, right? For career switcher, right? And you can see here for entry level or recent graduate, you can see nicely. Do you guys agree or not? Now ask yourself question, have you asked anytime such kind of prompt when you work with ChatGPT, or you just ask normal? So many people, they use ChatGPT as a Google because they're used to with Google. So in Google, you write just one text and you look for text search. But if you write a proper prompt, it will save a lot of time. Do you agree? Not to mention, this ChatGPT is expensive because every time you're searching, what ChatGPT does, this prompt, it kind of break down into token. It breaks all this item into token. Make sense? So it counts the token and it will charge based on input token. And then when you get the result, it also counts based on output token. Make sense? So you have to buy tokens, how many tokens you need per month. And more you are using, more it will charge. If an entire company, listen carefully, if an entire company does wrong way, then it will cost more. Not to mention, it will take a long time too, right? You ask wrong question, you get a wrong answer. You ask wrong question, you get a wrong answer. You spend 1 hour and you might have accomplished 10 minutes work. But if you ask good question, you spend 10 minutes and you accomplish 1 hour's work. Which one is good? Prompt engineering. That's why every AI, either a developer or as a business, they must know prompt engineering. People on phone, any questions so far? Good. So now let's go back to our slide. As we go further, what kind of skill you as a prompt engineer should know? So first of all, excellent knowledge for natural language processing, which we call NLP. Most jobs now, and don't be scared what I'm going to say, most jobs now will be the person who know how to write a good prompt. So those who have a creative mind, I'm not saying that English is your major language, means you will get a job. Creative mind. Remember, we just saw how to create a resume. There is no English required. It's just you have to follow the structure. What is your goal? What is your context? What's your format? What's your rules, right? As long as you prepare that thing, you will get a better result. So you are educating LLM with English. So sometimes English will be your programming language. You don't need to know Python or Java. You just need to know English. So English will become a language. Let me repeat. So far, English was not considered as a language, but they frame it as a prompt engineering. So whenever say prompt engineering skill required, what that means? It means how you format the prompt. And that is one of the required skills for all jobs. It doesn't need to be AI. Even business knowledge, data analysis, everyone should need that, because with that skill, you can accomplish more. Now, machine learning is a deeper concept. You will learn as we go further, so I'm not going to go in detail. Comprehensive knowledge of AI, which we'll talk about it. Familiarity with AI-related tools like ChatGPT. Now, today, we all know ChatGPT, but there are 2-3 format of the company. So one company, they use ChatGPT, right? These are called basic company. They just use model. The second company, but they say, you know what? I don't want to use public model. So what ChatGPT has two things, right? One, they have pre-trained model. Pre-trained model means entire world information they have processed and kept it ready, which we call model, GPT-4, GPT-5. That's a pre-trained model. But ChatGPT is also adaptive. It's adapting as you are typing. So if you write your name, after a few minutes, if you ask question, it will give you the answer. Make sense or no? So if, let's say, just give you an example, let's go to ChatGPT. And right now you ask your name, not my name, you ask your name. So example, who is Tushar Patel, right? I ask this thing. Now, of course, ChatGPT may not be able to find me, right? So it will say, who is this? I have no idea. He's searching on a web. Did you notice that? So he's looking for Tushar Patel. Somehow you find out, right? Do you see? These are all wrong. That's not me. So let's say I want to educate to ChatGPT. Look at this, how adaptive it is. Okay. So here you go. I'm giving training to ChatGPT. So if you want to give a training, the concept called you are uploading the document. You're uploading the document. If you upload the document, then you are educating ChatGPT. Hey, this is some informations are there. Or you can give some instruction here and then ask question. So right now, I'm going to say, my name is Tushar Patel, and I am providing computer training. Right? I can use, and I press enter. So I kind of informations I provided. Okay. So now I have complete information. Okay. Now if I, after a few seconds, let me stop this thing. And I'll say, who is Tushar? So it is, you can see that how fast it is learning. Did you notice that? Instantly it learns. That's called adaptive. Speak with me. People on phone, adaptive learning. Adaptive means it is quickly learning. What that means, this is scary actually one way. What if you have uploaded your company document? What will happen? Within second, it will be available to public. And this is the reason most companies are scared to use ChatGPT. Make sense? So that's why in industry, there are three models. Please pay attention. One is a public ChatGPT, which is more red color, which you should use, but you should not upload your private information. Example, bank, example, your SSN. It will be immediately publicly available. So that's why companies are a little bit scared to use ChatGPT, but they know there's a wave of AI. Wave of AI means everyone is using AI, so they don't want to stop. So there is another concept what ChatGPT say that enterprise model. So they create enterprise model. Enterprise model means it's only accessible and it is not available to public. However, internally anybody can access that. So example, if I upload my document, it will be available and accessible from my company, but it may not be available for outside. They charge quite a good money for that. A per person, I think they charge $300 to $400, and minimum 150 people needed for enterprise model. So most company where you're gonna work, 99% they will be using enterprise model because they don't want their information to leak to the public environment. So far so good. That's called enterprise model. You pay money to ChatGPT or OpenAI type of model where you say, you know what, I need your capability, but don't take my data. I need your capability. I still need a generative concept, but don't publish my data to the public model. Keep it in my enterprise, which we call tenant. Keep it in my tenant. So far so good. That's the second model. Now this model is kind of easy. You pay and start using it, right? There is a third model where you come in picture. The third model is you create a private model where you come in picture. The private model is you use LLM capability, but you host in your own environment, and you host in your own environment. It can be your local machines or it can be your cloud environment, but you own it. Everything you do it. In that situation, it's a heavy lifting, little bit, but you can still get a whole capability at $0 cost. The only thing you pay for infrastructure cost. So you're paying infrastructure cost. Make sense? You do not need to pay $1, but you need to host it. Yes, Uchita, question? Uchita, question?
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So for the enterprise model that you were speaking, I understand it would be available internally for employees, but then would there be like an access difference?
Very
Like
good.
the HR will have different access, management will have different access.
Very good. So first of all, you're getting good question here. So when you do enterprise, in enterprise, you define the access policy. Access policy. So access policy means, like example, HR. Normally the way it works is in industry, there is a concept called label or tag. If you are using enterprise version of Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, every time you do create a document, there is a concept called label. You label, this is generic, this is private, this is confidential, this is secret, like that. Labels are there. So based on those labels, this enterprise policy will use and say, you know what, this is confidential, means you in the sense of you are the owner, you can access, and whomever you share this document in enterprise, they will be able to access, but other people will not be able to access. But sometimes you have a group policy, means these are all you can configure through Entra ID or Active Directory. You can specify what policy you should apply. So there are level of policy you apply, and this is called enterprise level security policy you need to apply. HR will be able to see certain things, like example, if HR is dealing with what you call salary and all, they can say this is confidential. It means only the people who created and target audience whom they target, only those people can access. Even though this data are available in the enterprise model, it won't be available for everyone. So this way you can secure within enterprise role-based permission. That's what you do. Good. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Public, the model is ChatGPT, the data is open. whatever you enter, it can get stored on ChatGPT server. So ChatGPT can use it
Mm-hmm.
to make their own models better.
Right.
Enterprise one, the data doesn't cross into the public domain.
Correct.
But the LLM is already
Pre-trained.
there. It was pre-trained.
It comes.
Yeah, it was pre-trained from data that did not belong to the enterprise.
Correct. Correct. So
and then the third private one is there is no LLM. It will take the
No.
company's data.
No. I'm going to explain. Public, I think you all access public. Enterprise, where most company will use enterprise because of confidential nature. No one wants to expose their data to outside world. So enterprise normally they kind of say, you know what, I want my tenant. So the concept called tenant. So they create a tenant. So the way you happen is there will be admin. Admin will create a tenant. So they call org. Sometimes we call org, or sometimes we call tenant. So like example, I'm making IT expert. So IT expert is org. It means highest level. And from that IT expert, you can also create a workspace. So you can create a workspace. So you can say dev workspace, or you can say marketing workspace, or you can say HR workspace. So it means those people who are here, they can share among themselves. These people are here, right? And then it may be a generic workspace. So you can create a subsection. Just like you are chatting, right? WhatsApp, you create a group. So it's kind of group that you call workspace. So now let's say I join. They will add me in some workspace, or I will have only generic access for that organization. Make sense or no? Because if I'm HR, then they will add me in that HR. So I will have two access, generic and HR, but I may not have access to marketing. Make sense or no? This way, anything, those people who belongs to that, right? They will have access, but not others. Now this is your enterprise version. Similar thing when you do private, how private works. So private, you get we call LLM model, which are free. Most of the LLM models, you either pay a little bit and get it. When you host it, it's very cheap, almost $0. So you get the model, like example, DeepSeek, which is China model, right? Right now, Chinese company has created DeepSeek. So it's a free, you can download and you can install. Of course, you need a high-end infrastructure to install. Or I can download ChatGPT and download the model. When I say model, think about model is the library, whole world books library. So whenever I have a question, like tomorrow I have an interview, I look for a book, right? And I read about it if I have access to library. So LLM is nothing but library. It's a knowledge base. Whenever I have a question, all question answers are there, right? So that library is called pre-trained. You install on your machine. Make sense? Who does that? DevOps engineer does, cloud engineer does, that they install. So when they install, it comes as a pre-trained, means it has zero knowledge about company. Do you agree? But it will work exactly same way as a public ChatGPT internally, because it's a private. Are we understanding or not? So whatever ChatGPT works outside, if I bring that and host into my infrastructure, and if I ask prepare my resume, it will generate exact same answer, right? Almost similar answer. But at this moment, it does not know anything about my company. So far, so good. Make sense?
Contain the latest info.
It will be snapshot. That concept called snapshot. Snapshot means the day you got it. Right now, I got 5.0. Yesterday, I was doing some research. For this class, I was doing research, and that research answer is not available. I literally say I don't know, because their cutoff is, let's say, few months back, right? So anything happened recently, it will not know unless somebody asks question and adapt. It adapt. So if it is not adapted, some information you will not have. But let's assume for a second, this model which I have got, which is ChatGPT 5.0, let's say July. So July 2025, all details will be there. I can search just like normally I'm searching. There is no difference. Then what's the benefit of private hosting? There is a lot more benefit. So give me 2 minutes. So the first thing, please understand, when you do public to private, there is no difference. Difference comes like that. Now, what you do and add your enterprise information, that's your big difference. So you say, you know what, we have database. So you write your database, let's example customer database, we call CRM. So if you say I have CRM database, then you can say I want all CRM data information goes to my model. And this concept, which is pushing to the model, is called connector. So there are connectors are there. So all of you most likely will be using some shape or form programming or predefined what you call capability called connector. So what is connector means? It's trying to get organization or company data and slowly bring it to model. Are you understanding? So example, some of you are using Word document, right? You have hundreds of Word document, which we call SharePoint or shared drive, right? So you can say, go get this shared drive, all the documents we have, I need that into knowledge base. Why I need in knowledge base? Because today, let's say Irina is working in HR, just an example. She has 100 documents for HR policy. If I ask question to generic model, which is called LLM, right? It won't give me any answer. It has no idea about my company. But Irina has 100 document, which is called HR policies. I say, you know what, Irina, push that document. So what you can do, either you can upload the document, and that concept you upload, that is called RAG. So you're uploading because you know that I will retrieve. You're uploading because I can retrieve. One is you can straight upload. The second one you can, like example, some of you writing Python program, right? You are using GitHub. Now GitHub you can't upload, yes or no? Or some of you are using Confluence or Wiki, you can't upload. So they have a connector. So you can say, go to this space and get all Confluence data into knowledge base, or go to GitHub repository, get all the code here. So it's slowly building LLM on top of that knowledge base. So please understand, I'm using word correctly. LLM means generic, large language model. It has all pre-trained knowledge. But on top of that knowledge base comes from you. So if company does not add knowledge base, there is no difference between public versus private. But once company add knowledge base, now your LLM has a capability, and knowledge base will give you personalized flavor. Now I ask, what is my HR policy? Instantly it will give you an answer, right?
So public one, the LLM is sitting on ChatGPT servers.
Correct.
The private one, you pay for that LLM to get installed on your private server.
Correct.
So the enterprise one,
You-
it's still sitting.
You're renting. Enterprise is kind of, you just pay $100 and you start using. You don't have to do anything.
Right.
It's just like a Google account.
But then the data with the enterprise one, the data will still get.
Data will be still in ChatGPT, but it is privately hosted in there. It's kind of tenant. So it's separated out.
ChatGPT will not use that data for other purposes.
Correct.
It will only be for your enterprise.
Correct. So think about your renting. You're not owning. Instead of you use your infrastructure, you're using ChatGPT infrastructure. You are paying for that, right? You are paying a lot more money, approximately, just to give idea. If you minimum, you need 150 users, minimum. So if you have 1 or 2 users, you will not be able to get enterprise version. And if you have 150 users, I think approximately per year, they charge $150 to $75,000 approximately. So $75,000 to get that tenant, the org, and then you can manage that permissions. Your data will remain into your segment. No one can see that.
So this segment be updated? with
You
more-
update.
No, let's say public model is updated with more information.
Got it. So you will get that. By default, you will get LLM capability, you will get automatically because that is managed by ChatGPT. You will get as they update, you will get it. Your data, you will manage. So you will, open in an enterprise version, there is a benefit that LLM update, automatically you get it. But if you do private, this one, your role is to update the model, because if you don't update the model will have a snapshot, which is called T1. Whatever time you install, it will remain like that. T2 won't happen unless you refresh it. Significant. Like some of models are free. If you want to host in your local machine, it's free. Many of the models are free, but the infrastructure cost is high. So your infrastructure will be significant high, but compared to 75,000, this will reduce to maybe 10,000 or 5,000. But you have full-fledged permission in your model, because just Just to give idea, if you do enterprise, you're still using internet, yes or no? What if somebody get it? What if somebody somehow hack it? You will be impacted, right? Yes or no? So there's a fear of that. So most company, if you ask me, big company like Bank of America or Blue Cross Blue Shield, they will have LLM hosted in their infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, I'm talking about cloud, not your local machine.
You bought the ChatGPT 3.5 and then now ChatGPT comes out with 4.0.
You need to update.
Upgrade, right?
You have, yeah. If it is a paid model, you get the model and you have to refresh that. It will not overwrite your, or you will not lose the prior data. So there's a refresh mechanism available, which is like kind of, we call migration model. You will not lose the data, right? People on phone, so far, any questions? So we talk about public, we talk about enterprise, and we talk about private. Most likely, you will be using private, most likely. But if you are going for a company where there is no AI capability or there is not much work, they will do enterprise. Enterprise for the company where the AI capability is not good. So example, if I work on a bank, just an example, and there is no IT department, then they will go for enterprise because there is no IT department. So they just want to pay and start using it. It's just like a consulting model. You are paying them and using their infrastructure. You are not having your own infrastructure. But the company where they have their IT department, most likely they will be using the local infrastructure. Make sense? Local infrastructure will be much more safer and you have tons of benefits. And I'll explain why. Question?
Yeah, this is the question of besides safety, is there any reason to go for private?
Sorry, what's the question?
Besides safety
issue,
is there any reason to go?
There are a lot of reasons. There are a lot of reasons. If you ask me as advice, which one I should use? So if I'm having a company, let's assume for a second, Expedia. If I have Expedia, right? And in Expedia, I'm interacting a lot of companies. If I use OpenAI, my development time from months to reduce to minutes. From months to minutes. Good thing or bad thing? Extremely good thing. So now in case if you don't understand, millions of dollars to a few $1,000s. Good thing or bad thing? So that is the reason you will host locally. Why? Because once you add enterprise details, like example SAP, example Salesforce, example Oracle, example, you can create a whole workflow. You can create a whole workflow with 6 lines of code, where you can say, do like example, I'm joining company, right? If I'm joining company, then HR say, you know what, create an account. I don't need a person. This model, which you have, model will have knowledge, where is the HR system? So it will automatically create your profile, your Active Directory email ID will be created. Then second, make sure laptop is there, then it will send a ticket. Then make sure the payroll, everything will done, which I'll try to show you today, little bit. As we progress, you will be surprised that without AI, it will take 6 months to 9 months. With AI, can be done in 6 to 7 weeks. With maybe 1 or 2 person. Old fashioned, it will take maybe 20, 30 people. An AI model, 2 people can do the similar thing, maybe better than that in less than 6, 7 weeks. So AI project is highly dependent on 2 things, LLM and knowledge base. If you remove knowledge base, then there is no benefit.
But it can be done by enterprise model.
It can be done. Exactly, it can be done, but it will be expensive because you're paying money every year. You're paying money every year. So both are good, right? One is rent, one is owning, right? You're renting or owning. If you have $75,000, if you're ready to give and you don't want infrastructure, then you do enterprise model. But 75,000 is a lot more money. In case company want to save that, they have a way to do. 75,000 can be reduced to 7,000. And you also fully reliance, right? You can do yourself everything. So that's the reason company use. The safety matters, security matters, independence matters, right? Tomorrow ChatGPT, I'm just making up, tomorrow ChatGPT increase the price, just an example, you're mercy. But if you have own capability, you can manage it. So both are good. All models you will be using, public model, you most likely using for individual purpose. But when you work in professional, you use enterprise version or you're using private version. Good. So let's go back to our forum. Now, in salary perspective, you can see that this is a different salary. You can see that from prompt engineering perspective, there are different industry have salary. You can see like some of the industry, it's pretty interesting salary. Now people say, but just writing prompt, I can get this thing. So this is a little bit confusing. So there are two type of prompt you write. One prompt you write in a chat GPT, right? When you write the prompt, please pay attention, you write a text. But there is another way you write a prompt, right? You write a prompt where you write something, listen carefully, and your program, which is called Python program or something, will add additional thing on top of that. And combining your prompt and Python prompt, which is sometimes we call system prompt, and then user prompt, combine together and send this information to what you call LLM model and get the result. Now, when you do so, you get a better result. But normal user doesn't know how to write system prompt. So normal user will write in English. You will take that English and massage that thing, which we call engineering. And then you add on top of that system prompt and you will pass it. Now, most team member in your company will not be trained for prompt engineering. So they hire you to do so. So what you do is you enhance their capability because they have limited knowledge. But because you are doing that, you are improving their productivity. Make sense? So prompt engineering is not like that, but you are making other people productive by doing that. So example, HR. HR has certain needs and they're doing manually. You can say, if you do this thing, you can do automated. So I'll show you some example. But prompt engineering is not just typing. Prompt engineering also means Python or JavaScript or other language, whichever you are using. Python is very popular. So in this class, I'll more focus on Python. I can tell you one thing. If you are taking this class, have a little bit interest in programming or appreciation, because without Python programming is always limitation, because everywhere we'll have problem. And now I'm not saying that Python programming is hard. It's not really hard. I'm not going to make you programmer, but you should be able to read programs and make a little bit changes in the program. If you are a good programmer, you can do a lot more changes. If you are basic, you can make minor changes. But without programming, you cannot do a lot of activities here. So I just want to make sure you are very clear. Of course, we're going to use cloud. Of course, we're going to use data. But Python is allowing us to create that type of system prompt. So how it works? Let's take an example. So let's go to ChatGPT. Let's say I want to type, I have cold and cough and I need a medicine, right? I have cold and cough, I need a medicine. So normally we search in Google, cold and cough, give me medicine. Now, how system prompt works? You have to create yourself separately and you have to create LLM separately. So LLM, you can say, you are a system. You are a system. And then you make that system, because LLM means what? Entire world information. So in world, what we have? We have doctor, we have lawyer, we have teacher, we have everyone. So if you don't make that system a particular role, then system will give generic information. So here you can say, you in the sense of LLM, you are a family doctor. So I'm now telling, hey, you're a family doctor who is providing medical services to my family, right? So this type of thing normally in your company is not going to write. You are creating a role. So like example, I'm right now talking to doctor, but let's say if I need to create a HR, then I can say you are a recruiter. Or let's say if I want to take teacher, then I'll say you are a teacher. You create a system role. That what is the system role? So right now the role is you are a family doctor, right? Who is providing medical, who has been, I would say has been, let me write a little bit properly, has been providing medical services to my family. Today, I have cold and cough. Provide medical, provide, I would say medicine, provide recommendation for medicine. So basically, I separated myself, right? I have a cold and cough, provide recommendation for medicines based on, or you can say based on your expertise, right? So you are indirectly saying, you know, I don't want teacher advice, I don't need a lawyer advice, I need only medical doctor advice. Now you search it. This prompt will give you much more detail because you are going to give, even though it's not, you say I'm not a doctor, you can see that I'm not a doctor, but you can see that how nicely it gives me detail, right? So prompt engineering means you are educating the role, that system, how system will play the role, and that system role you hide from the user role. User will write normal, but you take that thing and you intercept and add additional thing. Make sense? That's why your prompt will be better. Only ChatGPT and other few models have much more advanced capability to refine your model. But if you define this type of role, right, you will definitely get a better result. Do you guys agree? Now, in case if you have cold and cough, you can see how nicely it says, right? Do you agree or not? Trust me, and I can tell you guarantee, and mark my word, if United States allow vending machine for this type of medicines, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid will be closed because we are almost there. You will go to touchscreen, it will ask 3 questions. They will take a picture, they will ask like that, and they will measure it within a second. You provide your inputs and prescription will come from vending machine. You do not need a doctor, and those days are not too far. This is where AI helping. Now you can change another thing. Let's example, you can change the role. Like you are a popular music master or teacher. Let's say popular music teacher who knows all music instruments. You have been teaching for many years. Now, so you're kind of setting the stage. You are a popular music teacher who knows all music instruments. You have been teaching for many years. So now AI understand who AI is now playing that role. Now you are asking, provide me, sorry, I need music notes for my grade 5 music class. Provide details in step-by-step bullet form. So what you are giving is you are giving information. Because you are giving them informations, it will nicely understand. And you don't have to retry, because sometimes people trial and error. But if you are doing properly, look at that. It understands each and every word. Look at that grade 5 music note. When you write step by step is a magic, because it will not just give you, it will give you step by step. Look at that. Consists with 5 lines like that. Those who know music, I don't know music by the way, but those who know that, you see how nicely it gives, right? Do you guys agree? And this is where the power comes, because you define the role. So in a prompt engineering, this is another way you can specify your role. And as you're specifying like bullet points, formatting, rules, it will follow that. It all power here is the prompt. So sometimes people will ask you, what is the power of prompt? So power of prompt has 3 modes. First, faster result. You get a faster result. Second, accurate result. And third, reduce cost or time, right? Because it's not going to take you time, because every time you search, there is a tokenization happen. The more token you use, it will cost you money. Here, you get a faster response because in the first attempt, you get a result. Accurate, so you become more like powerful, right? And you can accomplish a lot more. So your productivity will increase. And of course, overall end result will increase as well. Any questions so far? So far, so good? Okay, so let me go back to my forum. Now, overall, how this works. So this is what ChatGPT works. When you do input, the first thing will happen is a tokenization. Now tokenization is nothing but taking the words or your sentence, it will divide into words. Make sense? It divide into words. And then that words, please pay attention because this will be interview questions. So you write anything you write, which we call prompt. ChatGPT doesn't understand prompt. Let me repeat. Do you know that? ChatGPT does not understand prompt. It understands English. So English is converted. So whatever you write in English, which is here, we write this English, it is converted as a token. So let's search in Google, open a new tab. I'll show you what that means. Open a new tab and search ChatGPT tokenizer. ChatGPT tokenizer, just search like that. ChatGPT tokenizer. ChatGPT tokenizer and press enter. So when you press enter, ChatGPT tokenizer, press enter, and most likely you will get the first link here. This should be fine. So here, let's click on the first one. I think it should be fine. So search ChatGPT tokenizer and then click on it. It will give you the options where you can write a prompt. Yeah, this one. So here, let's say I'm using this prompt. I'm copying this prompt and I'm adding here in text. Depends on what model I'm using. It is telling me right now, if I'm using this model, it is saying I have 40 tokens and I have 194 characters. Make sense? If I'm using this, then it will calculate it. Why it is matter? Because more tokens you give, it's gonna take a little more time, processing time. If you are using local hosted, which is called private hosted, then you will be charged more. I'm hoping you all know that today the biggest problem with this large language model having is energy. If you ask me, the way they are designing this thing, they need more energy than human needs because they need a lot more power to process this token. So more research, just like sometimes people smoke, right? We create environment problem. This is like that. So more token you use, more machine power you need, more energy. It means indirectly, some shape or form, it will create a problem. And that is why I think DeepSeek got more advantage because DeepSeek is using less energy. Again, these are internal things, but you should know about it. So every prompt will be converted as a token, but that's not the only thing we should know. This token is used for ChatGPT how to charge you. So they charge based on token. Make sense? Again, there is information about how much calculations you can do per token. So if you look for the total documentations, it will give you idea that if you pay $2, you can use X thousand tokens. If you pay $10, you will use Y token. Again, we are not going there, but these tokens are words. Now, if I go back to the diagram, we got idea that prompt is converted into tokens. So far, so good. But that is not going to help. It is still need to convert into special thing called vector. And that vector is nothing but each word, like example, if I say I, based on the, they call meaning, it convert I into numeric value. And it will try to make what is I means. So I has a meaning. So example, if I say dog, so sometimes dog has a meaning called animal. Dog sometimes called animal who people keep in their house. They walk. So they keep meaning, and based on the meaning, they create a numeric value, which we call vector. What we call vector. Please pay attention, it's important. So you create a vector. The vectors are nothing but numbers. These are nothing but numbers. That will give them, they will give you them each word, how popular it is based on the numbers will change, or less popular number will change. And then they will compare that vector with their available knowledge base. So like example, They have whole world information. They have converted whole world informations in a number. So you can say I am. So they will look for I am. After I am, what are the possibilities in a world? Because they have a whole world information. So like example, I am Tom, I am Mike, I am this. So they try to narrow down that. So they use only vector comparisons. So they use token to convert into vector. This vector conversion we will use in this class. We use open search. So there is a database, we'll use open search database. Make sure you remember the word open search. That is nothing but simple vector comparison. Again, these are internal detail you will not see as a physically. It will convert as a number. Once it converts number, there is a layer which is called transformation layer. In, if you remember GPT generation, right? Generation, pre-train, transformation. So transformer layer will take that and say, you know what you are giving and what I have, based on that, what would be the next word? What would be the next word? What would be the next word? It will try to do that, and it will loop, and then it will generate decode based on your, remember we say format, rules. It will decode because you asked me create a bullet point. You asked me to create 3 paragraphs. You asked me to create 1,000 words. So it will decode, and then it will generate a pure English word, which is called token, and then you will get result. Make sense? This item is very expensive and it's hidden. It's just like, think about engine in a car. We don't need to know how piston works. We just drive car, right? Now, those who have done it, that concept is called model, pre-trained model. We are paying for that capability. But if we want to create from grassroots level, we can do that part. Today, I'm going to try again. I will say try based on our permission. Let's say I don't have this model. Okay. I use input my resume, just an example. So when I convert, it will convert token, yes or no. So my resume will be converted token. Then I'll use capability called open search. It will convert into vector. Vector is nothing but each word will be converted in numeric value. Make sense? And then I pass this information to a normal model so I can train that. So this is where training will happen. So this is called raw material. This is called raw material. This is a specialized material. So whenever we say LLM, it's a raw material. But whenever I give my material, it's called knowledge base, right? So my knowledge base and LLM together give me much more, not because LLM has a lot of detail. Like example, after I am, I'm not teaching that. Model already have that knowledge, right? He is. So is that part model already have, but my resume they don't have. So I'm using my resume as a knowledge base and I'm combining. Once I combine it, if I ask next time question, it will use this thing and it will give me a nice result. Make sense or not? So we will try that so you will understand how it works. Any questions so far in this diagram? So far, so good? Okay. So we talk about how this model works. If I go further, I'll skip this thing. So we talk about anytime you do prompt, think about that. Should you give a role? I normally give a role. The reason I want to make sure I don't want generic information. So I need a specific information. So example, if you have a traffic ticket, you got a traffic ticket and you want to think about like a judge or like cop, right? Who gave you ticket. Then you can say you are a cop who provided traffic ticket, right? Then you will get appropriate result. Otherwise you will get a generic result, right? So this is where you define the role. You also specify what result you want, which is the goal, right? If your intent, context, more context you give is better, because example, if I say draw a picture, if you say draw a picture, you're not giving context. But if you say draw a picture for classroom where students are taking class and instructor is teaching, and you can say another concept, they are using computer, they are focusing on a projector or a screen, then that context will help you to create that picture. So it's very important. And the last but not least, constraint. Define a constraint. Make sense? So when you give a constraint means, hey, provide the result in English, or provide result in Spanish, or provide result in a JSON, or provide result in a bullet form, provide result in a paragraph. we provide the constraint. So I have some example here. So let's say example, I have travel itinerary planning. Okay, I have a prompt here. So I kind of pre-made the prompt. So if you have access to the forum, right, if you can copy this thing, right, you copy this thing, right? So here, let me show you what's happening. I have this prompt, right? I have this prompt. I'm copying this prompt. And then I'm going to ask, listen carefully. I have this prompt. I want to ask ChatGPT to convert into this model. Okay. So any prompt you have, it will read this thing and it will convert to role, result, intent, context, and constraint. So you get an idea that your prompt is really framing properly or not. Make sense or not? Because if a prompt in a form of this thing, you will get a better result. So example, seasoned travel advisor, right? So it is taking this, what you call paragraph, and converting to segmentation, role, result, intent, content, and constraint. So let me show you how I am going to get it. So example, I copy this thing, Control C, right? And I'm going to paste here. So this is your prompt, okay? I'm going to remove this prompt and, right? And if you go here, these are the rules, which is the normally most prompt engineering has these rules. If you understand, then you're going to be master. So we can say that Control C here. I copy this. These are the rules, right? And now you go here and say, you have this is a prompt, right? And provide roles. What are the things? Context, right? Intent. What are the other things? Constraint as per follow. So I'm giving a little bit detail. I kind of provide that, hey, all the details which you provide is fine, but here provide roles, context, constraint as per follow, and these are called definition or example. Definition or example. So please understand, this was the prompt. Up to this, I kind of copy paste the prompt. There is no change at all. I added the line. Right? Provide roles, context, intent, constraints as per follow. And then this is what it's going to read. And if you run this thing, check it out. It's going to read and say, you know what? Look at that. Makes sense or not? It convert that as per the need. Exactly thing it will say. So what will happen? You realize that, am I missing anything? Am I missing anything? Because if my prompt is not appropriate, I may not get a right result. So sometimes you interrogate it. Make sense? So the best way to interrogate is that, see, right now, this was the original prompt. Please understand. This was the original prompt up to this. This one is saying provide roles. That's one. Context, intent, constraint, anything you want. You can say, hey, by following this, these are rules. What is role? What is so ChatGPT will read this thing, right? The model will read this thing, and based on this, it will try to extract the informations for you. Now, why it is matter? Because when you are using web services, so let me explain those who are technical. So far, when you are calling any web service, like example, weather web service, right? So if your mobile device is in the morning making a call to weather service, and then you are showing weather report. Yes, sir. Now that weather report which you are showing on the screen, person who write this program, they write through a lot of code. Now what they are doing is they are not writing a single line of code. They are going to say that the result which you are going to get is something like that, but in that, whatever you get should extract out this 4 items. Example CT, example high temperature, example low temperature, example like a icon, like it's a sunny or rainy, or that's all you will give in a pure English, and it will make a call and get the result. You are not going to write a single line of code. The only thing you will write is a prompt. And this entire web service call, web service response, and extraction all will happen through the prompt. Makes sense? Any questions so far? People on phone? So far, so good? Okay, so let's continue further. Let's complete few items. So now you can see here, I kind of added a lot more details here just for your information. So if you, let's say you do not know anything, then there are some prompt generators are available, free prompt generators available. So here, like example, we talk about basic resume, but if you add a little bit more about it, you can get the more detail. As we talk about, you can also do reverse engineering. If you do not know, like example, I do not know anything, generate prompt. So I say, I want to prepare my resume, provide me 3 prompts. Now you can use ChatGPT or you can use other free tools which can help you to generate your prompt. So example, I'm going to copy this thing, right? Control C, right? I can use ChatGPT or I can use this free model also. But let's say I use this free model for time being. So if I click on this, so it will open the new link. Now these are free prompt generators. If you do not know how to write like sophisticated prompt, you can let it open. Once it opens the prompt, you just paste your prompt. So like here, let's say if I scroll down, I paste it here. Now one is called fast model and one is called advanced model. So I say, you know what, I want to prepare my resume, provide me 3 prompts. You can do the same thing in ChatGPT or any model. Pick what type of you want and generate the prompt. And now it will generate a very sophisticated prompt within a few seconds. And you can see nicely what you wrote and what prompt you need. So now prompt engineering job becomes a little easier because before this type of prompt generator was not there. Now any layman can type a prompt and generate the advanced prompt because they don't have to write sophisticated prompt. They write in a natural language. Prompt generator will read it and convert into nice prompt. When you become a prompt engineering, you are creating this thing. So right now, the tool which is doing, remember, the tool which is doing, actually your Python program will take their input and your Python program will convert a proper prompt and your Python program will then send it to LLM and get the result. So end user will think he got result, but actually your program did a magic, and that's called prompt engineering. Make sense? You take any normal prompt in a pure English, your program will convert it, then pass it, get the result. That's why prompt engineering is not just a typing. Prompt engineering is, I would say 30 to 40% typing, but 60 to 70% is the programming aspects. And that's why you all should know a little bit programming to massage this thing. Or you should have some kind of access to tool like this where you can customize the prompt. Any questions so far? So far, so good. Okay, so moving along. Now, as we talk about is, you can use varieties of things. Like example, you can do storytelling. So this is like a prompt, role playing. You are an expert, right? We talk about it. Or storytelling, describe the key element like that. Emotional aspect, few shots. There are different way prompt you can define. Again, there are a lot of ways you can do that, but always ask yourself question. When you are doing the prompt and you are not getting correct result, you can talk like he is a human. So like example, I go back to the prompt. Let's say example here. Check it out. I want to invest money in a stock market. So I'll say provide financial advice, right? Financial advice to invest my money, right? So I ask my first prompt because I don't know what answer I'm going to get. So when I ask my first prompt, it's going to give me some information. Make sense? So it's a role, result, intent, it give me that, right? Now it is giving me all the details, right? You can look at, say, are you investing for retirement like that? Okay. Look at that. So what I started with provide financial advice, but it remember my past context. So that is very important. Whatever I have done, please pay attention. So far, I have not closed my browser. That is called session. So my session is maintained. My session is maintained. Second thing, when I make first time prompt and second time when I make prompt, the third time I make prompt, AI, which is in our case ChatGPT, will know my conversation. So it will know my conversation. So everything will be context sensitive. Because of my last prompt, I was saying, hey, I need to do that. So now new, we call OpenAI and other, they have a session and they also have a conversation. So just like two human talk, the ChatGPT will become a one human and you can interact. So like example, you can now say, you know what, provide good example for, sorry, provide investment, I'd say provide investment example and growth for 100,000. Growth for 100,000 investment in stock, bond, and CD. Okay, so I'm talking as it provides. You can see it's going to give me details, right? Now, if I don't like it, if I add again, that's called conversational, because my last answer is not ignored. I don't have to repeat. So like example here. So like example, it does all those good examples and all. Okay. So now what's the final suggestions? Provide as expert. So I'm talking like as a human. And this is where AI comes in picture, because AI means not just asking one question. AI means understanding all context and convert as a human. So what is the ultimate goal of AI? Think like a human. Think like a human. AI stands for artificial intelligence. At this moment, artificial intelligence is not thinking like a human. When we are doing this work, our goal is that AI will just think like a human. Because if you're talking, you're not going to repeat the same question you ask, right? Same thing. This is called conversational AI. So conversational AI has two things. One is a session, and second is a memory. Memory means it memorizes everything. If you logged in, you close the browser, it will still memorize. But because I have not logged in, if I close my browser, it will lose my memory because it will maintain only in session. So what's the question? Memory? Memory means it will remember for a long period of time, but because I do not logged in, it will only kept it in session. People on phone, are we understanding session versus memory? Memory means like, I logged in. So it carry forward machine to machine, browser to browser. But I have not logged in. If I close my browser, all my memory will be gone because my session is available till my browser is available. Good. Any other questions?
So by creating a quick account and logging, allowing it to store your past sessions.
Correct. So ideally, I normally don't store my session because I don't want my personal information to be, even though I gave today some information, it will not capture me. But if I logged in, it will capture it. That's why you should not upload your driver license or your resume and all. Sometimes it looks like pretty simple, but it's a catch. Once you upload, there's no way you can delete it. That's the problem. So there are scary part of the what they call prompt engineering. You cannot ask certain personal thing. Like example, if you ask certain address, that address will be stored and you cannot delete it. So that is the reason most companies do not want to use public AI. They want to use enterprise version or they want to use private version. Okay. Now, I think you got the whole level, high level idea. Now at the end, I have added a lot of what you call prompt, just play around. If you are a technical person, like example, if you want to do technical. So here, if let's say I'm a QA student, right? So I can write simple prompt, create a test cases for logging use cases, right? And you can see that just writing simple prompt, right? I can write that, but if I use properly, so let me write as a QA. So here, you are QA tester, right? Who is expert in web application testing. So you are kind of setting the role, right? Prepare test cases, prepare detailed test cases, or say detailed test cases for login use case. Now, if I give these informations, I will get a much more better result than I just say prepare detailed test cases for login use case. Now check it out. I can give you guarantee it will do better job than any QA can do in the world, right? And though that this was used to take like approximately 4-5 hours, now it is taking less than 4 minutes. And that's the power. Look at that. Anyone is QA, right? You might have seen the QA test case. Normally people who use Agile, write QA normally write a 2-point story to do this thing, which you can do in less than 2 minutes and much better. Do you guys agree? Say yes or no. People on phone. Detailed test case. Do you agree? Now ask yourself question, will I make money if I'm a QA? I can't make money because this can be done by any kid, right? Technically speaking, any kid. Now we are not done yet. So example, we have Uchita here. So you are a BA. You are a BA has 10 plus years of bank domain experience, right? Provide detailed logging use case and related story step by step. So now if I'm a Uchita and if I'm working on somewhere using my BA skill, so you educated, hey, you are a BA and you're 10 years of bank experience. So now you are using domain as additional aspect. And now you're saying, hey, provide login use cases and related stories. You can add a little bit Agile story. So you can say Agile Scrum stories, step by step, right? Now check the magic. So the BA job will be gone, right? Now the person who used to write like, we call use cases, right? Nice use cases, their job is gone, right? So think about if I can do this thing in less than 2 minutes, will I give $100,000 to a person who used to write, indirectly they were writing technical document, which I can do cut and paste, nice business rules, step by step, epic, story. Do you need more than this? So what I'm trying to say, don't go in a job where job will be eliminated. Now this kind of work AI can do. Not only this, the tool available where you can say, I'll show you how to do that. You can also say, see, nice. Do you guys agree? Give me thumbs up if you're okay or not, right? Yeah. You are a BA. You are a BA and has a 10 years of experience, right? Bank experience, right? Now, if I use concept called agentic AI, I can say that, listen carefully, you will be surprised what I'm going to say. If I'm using agentic AI, then I can say, this is a prompt, and I can say, create a Jira story. Create epic story and task in Jira. Then within a second, it will log in, it will create epic, release, story, task, everything. It means the sprint planning used to take 7-8 hours can be done in 10 minutes. Make sense or no? So these are good things. But now what we need to do is we have two choices. Either technology push us or we leverage that technology. So if your resume has a lot more AI capability, so far we were saying, I wrote a detailed use cases, wrote a detailed test cases, test plan, Now what you can say, leveraging AI, I created this thing. Leveraging. So your resume should have more flavor about AI leverage. Make sense or no? Now we are not done yet. Let's say I'm a developer. So here you are a web developer, right? You are a web developer who knows what you want to know. React, Node.js, what do you want to know? Huh? So like a Facebook framework called React. So you are a web developer who knows React. You are a web developer who knows the React framework, React UI framework, and backend Node.js. So you are kind of preparing the framework. Like you are a web developer who are expert knows. Knows is not good. Who are expert in React, UI framework, and backend Node.js. Prepare detail code for login use case and provide unit test for each component. Step by step. Step by step is a very important thing. When you do step by step, it will do systematical. It will not rush. So here, as a web developer, normally creating entire thing, like you do login screen, yes or no? Login screen, then you will have a login service, right? Then you will have database, right? So all these things, if I need, then I can say prepare detailed code. Then I can say code, then comma service, comma database table. I can provide that database table. So I'm giving more detail, sequence diagram, right? Whatever I want. My whole 40 hours work will be done in less than 4 minutes. Ready? So this is where the prompt engineer comes in picture. Look at that. Just adding this line, it will save my 2-3 days work. And here you go. You'll be surprised that any kid can do this part. Just giving prompt, because I educated that, hey, OpenAI, you're a web developer. And I give detail. Now you may say, but how do I know all those things? You just need to know a little bit. You just need to know what you want, like example, burger or pizza. How this OpenAI will do it. And now look at that step by step. So this is the prompt. Good. And you can see now the goal code is there. Right? What to see? Right? Code is there. Right? Step by step table, database table, line by line code. Right? Of course, there will be a little bit change required, but you get the clear picture. Right? Entry points, exit, API clients. Right? Of course, there is a small change required, but what I'm saying is 70 unit is 70 to 80% work is done. You still need help, but what I'm trying to say, don't work hard. Work now sequence diagram. User submits this, right? So this is the sequence diagram, step by step, how it will work together. So you're kind of getting an idea, right? If I use a little bit login version, right? So here I can say, look at that. This is like a bullet point. I would say graph, right? So here, prepare visual, and I'll say sequence diagram. If I am using logged in version, I can see nice sequence diagram. So prepare visual sequence diagram. Then it will create a sequence diagram for me as a visual form. So you will see like nice, it will create a diagram, visual diagram. Right now, because I do visual, the ChatGPT I'm using is a textual form. It will write a Python code to create a diagrams. Some of the areas where you can say, you know what, you need to have this thing, you need to use this to create a visual diagram. You will need to log in, right? Otherwise, it will create a sequence diagram. The people who have used UML, you can do that part. Amazingly simple, right? So what you need to think about, whatever job you are trying to do, can you use this tool, which is called prompt engineering, to make your life easy? People on phone, questions, concerns, doubt. Good. So now I think there are some videos and there will be some information. So I think we already talked about you are a recruiter, you are a doctor, you are a lawyer, right? I kind of give an example, and there are some homeworks are there. So please, these are homework. You guys can do that part. So homework will help you to practice. That's it. After this, you are comparatively much higher in the industry compared to others. Prompt engineering, in my understanding, is just understanding how to leverage this OpenAI. So you understand the rule. What are the rules? First, define the role. What role you want OpenAI to become. Then second thing, you define intent or goal or objective. The third, you define context. So role, intent, goal or objective. Third is a context. Fourth, you give a format. And fifth, you give a rules or constraint. And that's it. If you understand that part, then you will get a more appropriate result. If you're not getting appropriate result, reverse engineer. You ask ChatGPT, provide me prompt for this purpose, and ChatGPT will do for you, right? We talk about session, we talk about memory, right? And we talk about raw material, which is LLM. Between entire world, It's the same. But when you add your own personalized content, you're adding a knowledge base. So after break, we will do now different topic. I'll show you how to create a knowledge base. So you need AWS account.